up, my bodyweight warriors, and welcome back to another video. Firstly, I want to apologize to anyone out there who's stuck in the quarantine and has that coffee craving. I'm sure the intro probably made things definitely worse. 7 years ago, I made the wise decision of selling my car and buying a coffee machine. It's definitely paying dividends now. And secondly, I understand this is probably the first update to the road to one-arm handstand in quite some time, and I'm pretty sure the title kind of gives things away. I was waiting until it finally happened. The thing that I've been working essentially for the past 2 years towards came about. So, you know, let's roll the clip. 10 seconds, in fact actually that clip was 12 seconds on the right arm, straddle one arm. That is a one-arm handstand. Admittedly, it's only on the right hand side for the moment. My left arm side is just kind of catching up. It's the weaker side, it's the worst side. You're always gonna have that discrepancy, but the main focus, the thing that I've been working for, yeah, it happened, and oh man, it feels good. So in today's video, I kind of wanted to like wrap things up in terms of this whole Road to One-Arm Handstand video series. It will still be continuing because this is just the beginning. It is certainly one of the hardest things that I've ever had to learn, and something I drastically underestimated when I first started to learn it. But you know, here we are today. So I kind of wanted to make this video not as the end of the Road to One-Arm series. We're kind of getting to the end point, but there's still a lot left to do, and this is just the start of it. But I wanted to take today's video to kind of give you some of the useful tips that I found, the things that made the most difference to me along this way, and then also share with you my plans for basically the rest of 2020. Right, so I thought the best way to go about doing that is just to kind of talk you through the handstand session I'm doing at the moment. Let's get warmed up. Point number one in terms of things that I have learned along the way is not to underestimate the one-arm handstand, and specifically the preparation that is required to get to that point. When I first started learning the one-arm handstand, number one, my handstand wasn't that great. I mean, it was all right, it was okay. I had consistent 45-60 seconds, but time doesn't matter that much. There was a lot of things that were lacking. My shoulders weren't open, I didn't have a good tuck, I didn't have a good 7. I don't really have a good 7 now, but it's better. My starting point was not good enough. If you are wanting to go down the one-arm route, make sure your handstand is super solid, your shoulders are nice and open, but also strong. You need to have a decent tuck and ideally a decent pike or 7 position. I realized this about 3 months into trying the one arm, and then I went back to doing just those basics for probably a good 6 to 8 months of the beginning of my one-arm handstand practice. Number 2 is understand the difference between strength and balance. This isn't so much of an issue when actually learning the handstand because the strength requirement is quite low. For the one-arm handstand, the strength requirement is greater, much greater. There is no point us trying to balance if we don't have the strength in the first place to get that push in the shoulders. So first of all, my kind of recommendation would be to work on developing the strength. Stick to the wall, focus on getting time, focus on developing strength, being stronger in the shoulders. Once that becomes a non-issue, your shoulders get stronger, then the balance subsequently will get much easier. Strength is the preliminary, the general foundation that you need to build on, especially with the one arm. third and getting close to final tip now is time. Time is the thing that matters most, and it's something that I missed out initially. Again, if you don't have the strength there, you're not going to be able to hold the one arm work long enough to get enough time there without doing 50 sets of it. Making sure you have adequate time, that is done through 1, holding longer, 2, doing more sets, 3, training more frequently. Those things are really fundamental. All of the plateaus that I've hit along this one arm journey has involved me thinking I'm progressing too fast. I see some glimpses of balance, I get excited, and I spend too much of my session just trying to go for holds. And whilst that's fun, and it might make you feel good because you get the odd 1 or 2 where you hold 2 or 3 seconds, actually the amount of time you spend balancing is very little. If I just make sure that I focus on getting enough time, the progress is pretty continuous. As with the normal handstand, the one arm handstand is all about time, getting in 10, 20, even more sets of those balance work. So the fourth and final tip is more of a personal one. If you do the first 3, you're probably going to be fine. Understanding where you push out of the hand. This one was a big one for me, and something I didn't realize I was making a mistake until much later on. Basically, this is the dead zone. This part here, this was taught to me by using blocks, because when I first started using blocks, I couldn't balance. That's no good. When you use blocks, you have to push out of this nice meaty area around the index finger and thumb. That is where the push needs to come from with one arm. And that, for me, was a game changer. It's probably the reason I got much of this progress in the past 3 months or so.
Also, by the way, I am currently listening to this whilst I am training on Audible. So just in case people care or wonder, this is the current book.
What's next? That's probably the big question, and ultimately it's just to get better at the one arm, introduce more shapes. Diamond is what I'm working on. You see some clips here. Obviously this being better at straddle, being more consistent, getting towards 20-30 second holds and then full, but that's a long way down the line and something I'm going to keep working on and keep working towards. There are a couple of goals that are related, but I think will be achieved much sooner. Focus number 1 is, well, the style Depress. Specifically, I'm working towards being able to do 5 reps in a set. The other day, about a week ago, I actually managed to get my first set of 3, which is a big win. That was a big one to come over. 4 felt pretty close, then I was under some fatigue as well. And I don't think 5 is too far away. It is just going to take more time and effort to focus on, and now I kind of have the more time because, well, there's not much else to do during lockdown. The second thing is the handstand push-up. Now I've done plenty of work on the handstand push-up before. It's just a general strength goal, something that I want to keep up there. Getting 5 reps freestanding would be nice. I've hit 3 once or twice, 2 is pretty consistent. 5 would definitely be a big goal for me to hit, as it's just a pattern I've always struggled with. It took me a long time to get my first handstand push-up, but it doesn't really matter towards the overall one-arm handstand. It's more of a strength goal. So yeah, that's like a general update on the one-arm handstand. We finally sort of made it, and kind of where I'm planning on going in the future. So that is basically it for today's video, the summary of the vlog. I hope you enjoyed it. I'm just, to be honest, pretty grateful that I actually got to this point. It's felt like an impossible thing for, you know, a fair while now. But I want to finish this video by asking you guys a couple of questions. Number 1, how are you getting on with the quarantine lockdown? I hope everyone is staying safe during these crazy and also sad times. We'll be through it before you know it, and the kind of phrase that I've been sending to a lot of people is stay sane, make gains. That's kind of what we can do with all this free time. So What have you been working on during this lockdown period, and where are you at with your handstand journey? Let me know in the comment section down below. This lockdown period, although we don't have access to the gym, it's actually a fantastic time to work towards the handstand. All you're going to need is some floor space, a wall, somewhere to not fall on furniture. You'll be good. If you just enjoyed this video, you can always hit that thumbs up button and just support the channel and help that YouTube algorithm out. Right next to it as well is that subscribe button if you're going to join the Bodyweight Warrior tribe. Don't miss out any more future videos. But that has basically been it for this week, guys. I'll catch you in the next episode. Have a strong week and peace.